Good morning, guys. All right, so this is the trade idea for today. I was trying to fix my mic earlier, but it wasn't working. So I was trying to start it beforehand. Good thing I checked. If not, the whole video was just going to be silent. But I'll just let this play in the background while we wait. But yeah, the idea behind this is the same as always. We were in this consolidationary period here, just going up and down, up and down, up and down. Um, this was the initial trade I wanted. And as soon as I seen this, that idea was off the table and I waited for that to get taken. I wanted to see some level of manipulation, which we got here going higher. And now I can go ahead and enter short. Now, if NQ does take this low first, which more than likely it will, I'll just cut my position. I can either take one partial and then leave the rest at break even or just take the whole position off. So we'll see when we get there. But yeah, I really like this trade. Displacement, you have your inversion, you have your order block, and you have your fair value gap as well. So a couple PD arrays. If this fails, it is what it is. Ugh, my room is pretty cold, so that's why the slight shiver. But yeah. Yeah, we've had a crazy dump all morning too. I think almost close to 400 points on NQ. Let's check it. Holy crap, yeah. It's like 400 points. That's insane. Yeah. Really nothing for me here on NQ or ES. This is all very ugly consolidation. We have an expansion. We take a little bit of buy side and we create these relative highs. So yeah, if we were going to reverse, I was hoping for a reversal here to try to aim for that. But we also are so close to the sell side. That's why I'm taking this model here just to be able to take that sell side out. After all, we have been on a downtrend. If we look at the hourly, at least on the last couple days, just constantly, right? Yesterday's trade was here. I didn't make a video on it. I didn't have much time, but we can go over it real quickly. So yesterday's trade was in here, this section of price action. We were coming off this 1 hour fair value gap here. Let's draw it out. We have time right here. So this candle was New York open, boom. And if we drop down to the 5-minute, I was a little short-sighted, I'm not gonna lie, because if we look at this displacement off open, this almost makes you think we're gonna go for all this low resistance, right? But this becomes an SMT, this high with this high and ES. So ES doesn't sweep this high, but NQ does. Let's go to ES. And let's go back to this one. Just go to that section of price, which is right there. So this high right here. Notice how it's not swept with ES. And I believe it's also coming off a 1 hour fair value gap on NQ. So we go back to the 1 hour and we can see that, yep, NQ taps into the 1 hour. ES fails to tap into the 1 hour. Yeah, I gotta turn on the heater or something. It's freaking cold in this room. So this hourly right here gets tapped into. So what does this kind of give you the hint of? And this hourly doesn't get tapped into right here. This just allows you to understand that the probabilities are likely to be trades are likely to be higher probability going short rather than going long. Given that we have an SMT on the higher time frame, I believe there was an SMT up here as well too. Am I mistaken? Was it on the 4? There was a higher time frame SMT, and now we have this time frame SMT as well, the 1 hour. Then if we drop lower to the 5-minute, this is where we begin to see. Let's see right here. After we put in this SMT, we start having a displacement lower. I took a long because of this 5-minute and the displacement out of the 1 hour. So it's still valid, but if I'm looking at the bigger picture, there's a lot more confluences to the downside to go lower. And then you add on the fundamental aspects going on right now. Everybody in fear, selling off and Bitcoin going down, Ethereum, all these other things that, are fundamentals. You have this inefficiency to the downside. And we also have another SMT here. So I paid attention to this on my back testing session, but not during the live. So notice how ES comes into it and then NQ does not. This PD array SMT is incredibly crucial because then after we sweep all this liquidity inside of this 5-minute, then we have a massive displacement, right? So after that displacement, I can start seeking an entry. And because we have the SMT, so let's go back over. Let me make sure that NQ has not hit that target. Oh no, I have an alert. It should alert me right there. So let's go back to what we were talking about. So we have the 5-minute SMT right here. We're gonna go to 1 minute. And then let's go find that. Should be right there. Yep. So I got stopped out going long here. And I'll show you guys why. It's perfectly valid. Not a bad trade. I would take the trade again. Whoa, I must have passed it already. Come on. I took a trade right here. This is a 5-minute and also an hourly. I like the displacement out of here, creating an inverse. So I took a trade here on my toss-up accounts, and on my live, I went in here, stop below here. I was just aiming for the 5-minute inefficiency, which was somewhere above here. And then that would be my break-even point, and then I would aim for these highs. But obviously, got stopped out, but notice how we don't get stopped out on ES. So this is now another SMT, which can either allow you to re-enter if you want to aim for that 5-minute inefficiency, since it's very likely to get tapped. But even if you would have re-entered on NQ and your 5-minute inefficiency is right here, so actually this high, there's a 5-minute inefficiency, you would have still not hit target, but you do hit it on ES. So there's another SMT. So then you would be able to take off your position here. And then that's when we get tapped into. ES sweeps all this liquidity internally in the 5. And then we have this displacement, which is where you could have entered, but just understand that, you're going to be in some choppier conditions because you're in between two PD arrays. You have a 5-minute inefficiency to the downside, SIBI, and then you have a 5-minute inefficiency to the upside, BISI. So you're going to be chopping around until we finally get the real move. But this would have been your entry if you're bearish. I was a little bit more bullish than I was bearish. After doing my backtesting session, I could see clearly why, shorts were the better play. But it is what it is. I still really like this play. If I would have took it on ES, it would have played out perfectly. But I took it on NQ, So just unlucky on that, but not bad overall. Let's go check on our trade. Very choppy, very slow. Let's see. Gonna be looking out for this low here and how we react. And the same low on NQ. I think once we get through this, it'll displace through. Once we get through this low, it should displace with energy. I know NQ should get there a lot quicker, and then ES might lag, so we might have to cut our position short. I mean, this is a 1 to 3.5. Be very content with just the 1 to 2. Oh, what is it doing? Yeah, just confirm that. 1 to 2 would be right here, right? But we'll leave our target in case we get a lucky death candle, or Trump talks about something, and we'll see. But yeah, that was the trade for yesterday. Just want to do a quick recap since I didn't make a video yesterday about it. But let's see. Do we measure this order block out? Right there. So you have your balance price range. You have the mean threshold of that order block, which can be wigged into. Could be a long wait, guys, but nonetheless, we'll wait. So I'll mark out all the PD arrays that I'm looking at, even though it's going to be too messy on the chart, really. So this would be the inversion fair value gap that we're looking at. This is coming out of the 5 as well. We have our order block that we're also looking at here. This is what made us get in, paired up with the fair value gap. So we have our bearish order block. And then we obviously have the fair value gap, which I can draw on there too, but it's going to be really packed up with drawings. It's your 1 minute inefficiency. We'll just put a 1 hour SIBI because my 1 minute looks ugly. Let me just change it. And then, yeah. So this is a framing of the trade. And obviously we're continuing lower and we still have this. Let's go to the 15. We're coming off of 15 as well. 15-minute inefficiency to the downside. We have this slow here and we have this 4 hour low, right? So we're really always just playing probability. What is it likely to do? Is it likely to start heading higher from here? Which it can. But based on the technical side of the analysis, I'm likely to lean more towards bearish side. Even though we've already expanded quite a bit, we've gone through some consolidation. I see this as manipulation to the upside, manipulating into a higher time frame, which would be the 5 minute, which is a time frame, and the 15-minute inefficiency, to then go lower. So everybody's getting tricked up into going long here. Going long doesn't mean you can't take trades going long. No, absolutely not. If you have a model that lets you get into here and you get off this order block, is it changing the state of delivery? That's your model. But for me, I want something that gives me more confirmation and structure with more PD arrays, or as many PD arrays as possible. And that's what this gives me here. So we will be approaching our 1 to 2 is, again, it's right here. So we could take a partial at the 1 to 2. Just buy 1 there. NQ is taking a little while, so that's good. It's giving ES time to be able to catch up. But I want to see a clear expansion through this low. I don't want to see it swept and wick, because then that's going to just be. And once we take this low, I will be moving my stop to break even, because there's no point for us to come all the way back up here. We've rebalanced this price. We respected this balanced price range. We're respecting all the PD arrays we need to respect. Let me clean this up a little bit. And yeah, so it would just have to be a break-even trade at that point if it were to not work out that way. But I do want to see this flush now here. We're also inside the macro, so the macro would be here. Let me mark it out. 1050. This is where you want to see the expansion move to 1110. Right there. So we should get that expansion through at this point. So again, this would be my break-even point. So there it is, tapped. I'll go break even now. And as soon as this is tapped, then so trade was taken off. Why? Again, like I had said earlier, as soon as we take this low, which would be the same 4-hour low that we're targeting on ES, I'm taking it off on ES. Why? Well, there's a couple reasons why. Because this could be an SMT low and we can start going higher. Why higher? Because we've created relative highs up here, which are still not going to be ignored. So I'd rather not risk trying to get a few extra points to the 1 to 2, which would have been only like a couple handles on ES. Yeah, 5 handles or so, maybe a little bit more, but it's not worth risking your overall position just to try to catch a little bit more. Be content with what you get. So that's the reason why I took it off. Again, it can be SMT with this low and this low being taken, and we can start heading higher because NQ also has these relative highs. And yeah, I'd rather just not risk it. So everything played out how we wanted it to play out. We took a little bit of drawdown here and then just a little chop fest all the way down. Again, why the trade right here? I consider this my consolidationary period after the expansion. Then we have a clear manipulation upwards to trick traders into going long, just for it to get completely disrespected with multiple PD arrays supporting price to go lower again. And yeah, and again, this is my break-even point. So my break-even was put there, but I had said as soon as we take this low on ES, which would be on NQ, which is the 4-hour low, I would cut my trade on ES or take off one and leave a runner. But just the fact that we've expanded so much, I'd rather just not risk it and be done for the day. And yeah, but that's pretty much it. That's the trade for today, guys. I did want to record it. Hopefully the audio is working now, so I'll see. But if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything, just feel free to, leave a comment or shoot me a DM. But thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.